well over a kilo of dog chow and quite a bit of different fruits and vegetables as well as just lunchtime fish. Females get a little bit less than that. They both probably weigh about 700 pounds now. And we also have one cub in the exhibit to the right of this one. That's Aurora's baby from last year. He had to be hand raised by us, and that's why he's on his own. He'll probably be spending at least the next couple of years here, and eventually we'll probably move on to another zoo. Now, as far as their life history goes, these guys this time of year would be their breeding season. A couple of them were breeding earlier this morning. I believe it was Nikita and Anukshuk. And bears, although they are solitary for most of the year, around this time of year, anywhere from about March till May, males and females will hook up. Females that are receptive to males will hang around with the male for as long as they are receptive, and they may breed several times. That may be over a week or so long period. Females that are successfully bred don't actually become truly pregnant right away. Like a lot of carnivores, they undergo something that we call delayed implantation of the fertilized embryo. The egg will develop, it'll go through a few divisions, it'll develop into an early stage of an embryo, but it won't implant into the uterine wall until the fall, usually around September, October or so. And that's when the true gestation period for these guys begins. It only lasts about 3 months or so, and then females that are ready to give birth will typically den up. They'll excavate a den either in the snow or in the earth, usually in the snow when it's available to them, and the females will basically entune themselves in there until they give birth. They usually have a couple cubs, and they only weigh about a pound or two when they're born. They're pretty much hairless and blind, so they're not really well developed. And the female will stay in that den with the cubs, just laying there with a reduced metabolic rate, not feeding or drinking for herself. And she will basically just nurse the cubs for up to about 4 months. That's how long it takes before the cubs are big enough that they'll typically venture out into the world for the first time. Cubs will end up staying a total of about 2.5 years or so with the mother. That's how long it takes for them to grow up and learn to become independent bears. So, because of that, females will only end up breeding at most about every 3 years or so. If they have successful cubs that survive each time. So that's a fairly slow reproductive rate, so that when bears are taken from the population or don't survive for whatever reason, it takes a population like that a long time to recover, if at all. Scientists are worried these days with the global warming trends, with the ice sheets melting in the north, that these guys won't have their hunting platform for their winter feeding. And that may affect the polar bear population. The bears will go out on the ice as soon as it's formed, and that's where they hunt their main prey item, which is seals. Oh, here comes the other female. I think that's Nikita there. And so the seals are their primary food item. And in a good year, adult polar bear may catch as many as 30 or 40 seals. They like to prey on the baby seals especially, so in the late winter or early spring when the seal pups are being born, that's when these guys really like to go out and hunt and try to find the seal pups that'll be in dens that their mothers excavate and give birth in. Once seal pups are born, they don't immediately take to the water. They're at least about 50% fat content when they first are born, the seal pups, and that's what polar bears like. They like that high fat content. And even with the adult seals, when they catch them and eat them, they'll often just concentrate on the seal's blubber. It's a really high calorie source of food for them, allows them to pack on a lot of their own fat, and that helps sustain them through the leaner times of the year, which would be the summer months.